Pablo has notes. What do we got for status rework?
Just throw it out.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head.
You got it. You got it.
So, yeah, because we last time we didn't talk about what we said we were going to change blast, but we didn't say what it was going to do. So a blast basically now when you get a proc on an enemy of blast, after delay, that blast has like a secondary explosion that deals a percentage of the damage that you dealt initially. Or if you get all the way to 10 stacks or kill the enemy, then that secondary detonation does a sum up of all the damage and does it in an AoE, so it hits enemies around it and it kind of spread the blast. So
blast is blastier. Yeah.
Blast is definitely
Make a grenade
blastier.
out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
The blast blasts.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So you heard it from the master of rework himself. Blast damage will be blasting in the Jade Shadows update, as it will have a grenade effect that can hit and kill multiple targets at once. More specifically, when you deal blast status, the damage dealt will trigger a smaller secondary detonation following a delay. If you eliminate an enemy or reach max blast stacks, they'll detonate, dealing a percentage of the summed up damage on a wide range. We still don't know the specifics, such as how much the damage percentage or how wide the area of the explosion, but if I were to guess, it would be the same as the acid shell augments for the Sobek. It will deal 45% summed up damage within 15 meters radius, but this is only a wild guess. The worst will be 20% and within 10 meters. Nonetheless, the new blast mechanic shows a potential to be broken with a corrosive combo, and to be more specific, it will be super busted with the Sobek Saren build this upcoming Jade of Shadows update. The reason I say this is because with Saren, we can build multiple meta elements in one build, so do remember that Saren can imbue a separate toxin proc with her Toxic Lash ability. This pairs well with the Sobek as it spreads it through the Acid Shell Augment mod. It becomes more potent with a faction mod, as well as the Roar ability that triple dips the damage you deal with the element. But in the case of the new blast synergy, I will not be using Roar, but I'll be subsuming Nourish in my Saren to increase the damage on health with Blast and Toxin. Basically, we can have Toxin with Toxic Lash, a separate viral stacking mechanic for our weapon with Nourish, and then we can add Corrosive with Spores, or we can imbue the combined element using Saren's Venom Dose augment in the build. Now, for the Corrosive stacking, Digital Extreme said that they'll be changing on how armor stripping also works in the Jade Shadows update. With armor being capped in the next big update, the goal is to make total armor stripping far less dominant and far less mandatory feeling. While strip isn't necessary by any means, the change seeks to bring the partial strip further up. With this, armor strip will lose value by design, forcing the feeling of needing full strip to a desired trait, not a necessary one. Additionally, with capped armor, there was some expression over less armor making corrosive less potent to strip away those values. However, the raw amount removed isn't what matters nearly as much with this design. Because of this, the developers are focusing on how much damage reduction is removed with each corrosive stack, which will go up with the design goals, especially as they reconfigure the armor formula to be less bottom heavy. Also take note that the developer mentioned that the armor cap doesn't intend the loss of effective health points, and they will slightly increase the health of enemies after level 70 to prevent their effective health points from completely stalling. Now, this will greatly affect the 2 Emerald Archon Shard combo that completely removes all armor of enemies. I say this because Digital Extremes are like giving more weight to 99% armor removed compared to fully shredding the armor of enemies. We may see a huge damage increase if we only remove 99% armor. Hence, I think 1 Tau forged version of Emerald Shard that grants 13 stacks of corrosive will be a good option once Jade Shadows update drops. Getting back to Saren, we have Toxin that can stack infinitely, we also have Nourish that stacks 10 viral, and we also have 13 stacks of corrosive. And the best part is, we can also use Magnetic in the build with the help of the Kuva Sobek that can be farmed with an innate elemental value of our choice. Magnetic will also be great in the upcoming Jade Shadow update, as Digital Extremes plan to have an effect for Magnetic to do bonus damage to Overguard, and on Shield Break, deal electrical damage hitting for a percentage of max shield per stack. So if an enemy has 10,000 shield values, 3% of that per stack will be inflicted as electric damage. This is really broken with Kuva Sobek Saren, as not only that we can inflict viral, corrosive, and toxin, but we can also inflict high damage to Eximus units, melting their Overguard easily. Now, Saren is not the only Warframe that can do this, but also a Valence Formation Lavos. You can also have a Kuva Sobek with Magnetic, then you can mod for corrosive and blast in the weapon. After that, you can use his passive to form viral. Then add 1 Tau forged version of the Emerald Archon Shard, and you'll be shredding enemies with this new elemental type combo. The only downside though is that you will not have the benefit of Toxin like Saren have, but it will still shred enemies into pieces. In fact, not only these 2 Warframes, but generally speaking, you can mod for Corrosive and Blast after the Jade of Shadows update, and then subsume Nourish for the viral stacking, and then use either a Kuva or Tenet weapon with innate Magnetic. It will be a super enjoyable combo that will shred even Steel Path enemies and beyond, and I really can't wait to try this out in the next big update. Now, this is just one of many things that I am excited about in the Jade of Shadows update. Be sure to check out later, as I will be giving you more future combos that you can try once the next big update on June 18th drops in Warframe. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you again in our next video. Squad Leader, signing off.